Mitsuhiro Arita is my favorite artist of the Pokemon TCG. He has loads of different styles, and his cards certainly do include some unique ones. Not to mention he drew possibly the most iconic card in the game. So, I'm starting at the beginning and looking at every single unique card illustrated by this artist. If you want to keep up with these videos, click that subscribe button and the bell, and choose all notifications. Here we go! Hey everyone, it's Xyleets, and I'm back with another Mitsuhiro Arita Illustrator episode. Now this is actually a redo of episode 1. There's some updates and some things I wanted to talk about. So also we're recording this in 1440p Quad HD. So here we go. The first new thing here, this is the My Deck Memo card. Now this one, I'm just going to scroll down to the characters here. You've got the starters, of course, Red Cheek Pikachu. Not sure why they included Sancho or Abra, but that's okay, because they're great. Clefairy there, also the original starter from the little manga. And then Ghastly here, I love this. It's like, it's just another form of Ghastly. We see tons of different ways of illustrating the little blob, and there you go. That's another great one. But this is a very early work from Arita, and I was very happy to include that in the collection. We'll learn about these here as we go, if you haven't seen any of the series. But starting out, we have the original Japanese booster pack arts. Base set there, a lot like the booster box. And if you want to see those original boxes, I have those in a video as well. Then Jungle set. The Jungle varies quite a bit from the box. Some of the same characters are there, but the scene is very different. Same thing with Fossil, right here. Alright. Now jumping right into the cards, and as you might notice, I've added some music now. The music will track with the generations as we go through the games, so the music will be appropriate, as you'll see. Charmander here. Now, with my base set cards, mostly I picked the shadowless version, because that's the one that I remember seeing first. But I did pick the Japanese versions for the holos, and that's because I didn't want to put shadowless base set Charizard in here, so for consistency, I have the Japanese ones. But I do want to show you the difference between those illustrations with the different releases. Now, if you know, I'm going to move this here. Now, if you know what shadowless is, then you don't need this part. But if you don't, I'm going to show you when we get to Gyarados. Charizard. Now, in the English version, the flame is part of the foil. It's in the background. But in the Japanese version, the flame is out front there. And I think that's nice. I think that's how it should be. Also, Arita included... I don't know why I said it that way. Arita included one horn there on the back of Charizard, because they didn't quite know what they were going with. If you look at Charmander, there's no spike on his back, but some early versions of Charmander have a spike there. Probably mimicking the spike here on the top of Charmeleon. But Charizard actually has 2 spikes on his head. Here, though, he's only got 1. Alright. Now, Bulbasaur. And Venusaur. He didn't do an Ivysaur in base set. But there's the base set Venusaur. Japanese, of course. And then Squirtle. Now, this is the first one I'm going to show you some differences in. This is, of course, a shadowless Squirtle. But if you look down here, you can see it says 1999. And then here, or here it says 99 rather, and here it says 1999. Now, in the unlimited version, it will just say 1999 here and no 99 over here. So I'm going to show you that here in a moment. So I'll rest that there. Oh, I do have another Charizard, so let's go back and do that right now. So we've got our Japanese Charizard there. And we have our English Charizard here, and you can see that flame is part of the foil, right? Now if we go to Squirtle, sorry for the shaky cam there. If we go to Squirtle, you can look down and see the difference is here. Actually, it's right in here versus that. Something else I want you to notice. You'll never unsee it now. The shadowless version has less of the picture above and a little more of the picture below, whereas the English Unlimited has more of the picture. There we go, focus up. It has more of the picture above and less below. Interesting, huh? Alright. And then moving on here, we're going to Magikarp. The other way that you can tell shadowless from not, this is shadowless, because there's no shadow here in this corner. Focus on Magikarp, there we go. Good job, camera. And there is a shadow right here. Even though this is the Japanese version, the English one has that too, as you may see. No. Now this is a yellow cheek shadowless Pikachu, right? How do you know? Well, he's got yellow cheeks, and that is how it was originally illustrated. Now, and that's like that in Japanese as well. But when it came out at first, or at some point, perhaps the yellow cheek was first, Wizards of the Coast decided they were going to make the cheeks red to match the standard character, so you have red cheeks there. But then over time they got rid of that, and there are several other versions of this card. But that's that distinction there. Now the red cheeks do not exist in a unlimited or a shadowed version, only in the shadowless. There you go. Now Arita has redone this illustration a couple times. He did like a rehashing of it in, what was it, Rising Rivals, I think? And he also has recently done a re-illustration of the whole thing as a full art for Celebrations. But let's move on. Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to show you here. We're going to clear out the Pikachu. So we have our Japanese Gyarados. Let's put them this way. We have our Japanese Gyarados in the middle. We have our shadowless English Gyarados on the left. And then on the right here we have our English Unlimited Gyarados. Now what I want you to look at is how the illustration changes as it goes. You can see the foil is across the entire card, right there. But in the shadowless version, which was also the first edition print in English, you can see that the foil has changed, but you can't quite see the illustration as well. See that change there? I do like that shadowless foil though. But then when we get to the unlimited version, the illustration is much stronger. It's not just relegated to the background, even though we have the same foil pattern. So it's interesting how the card and the illustration can be changed through different printings. Alright, let's go to page 2. Dugong, shadowless once again. Abra, one of my favorite illustrations right there. At least illustrations for base set, shall we say. And this coughing. But wait a minute, this one's the unlimited version. Well, I have the shadowless underneath, but look at that. The framing of the illustration is a little different once again. You can see a little more of the illustration in the shadowless version. Interesting stuff. Tangela. There are some similar changes with Tangela too, but I think we're good on alternate versions for now. Weeding, Weeding, Weedle. Nidorino. This looked like schmutz, but it was just a reflection. Doduo. Machop. And these are mostly in the order that I remember. They may be in set order, they may not be, but for the most part they are in chronologic order by set as I remember them. So you might see some promos that are out of order, things like that. But for the most part they're in the order they were released in. Dragonair. Now we're into Jungle Set. Jungle Set has some interesting things, but I'm going to show you the big one here in a little bit, and it is related to art. My favorite card right here, Meowth, because of the balance with the set symbol and first edition, but also very simple, just a couple colors, but such an amazing job there of giving it dynamics. So Meowth, one of my favorite card illustrations ever. And it's right in the beginning. How's that? Cubone, many people's favorite right here. Looks like autofocus is doing a good job of keeping things in focus too, so this is good. Marowak. Now we're getting to, now we've gotten to the interesting thing. Electrode, first edition, Jungle, but that is the base set artwork. Still, what does it say right there? Mitsuhiro Arita. This is not done by Arita. This was done by Arita. Now there is no first edition non-hollow Jungle with this artwork on it. For non-hollow. In order to get this artwork in first edition Jungle, it has to be a hollow, so it'll look like that, of course with a first edition stamp. Just an interesting little piece of trivia right there. Genghis Khan. Everybody had 1 billion copies of this, but it does have a nice shine. And also too, nice way that this lined up. Genghis Khan, Cubone's mother, and there he is. Wigglytuff. Some nice shine on this one too. Most of my collection is reverse hollow or non-hollow, but base set you don't have an option. With Jungle Fossil I do, however I like those foils, and that is a pretty nice foil right there. And there's not a lot going on in the background that we miss. And this one's in Japanese because I like the coloring better. I actually started in Japanese. I had a friend from Japan in a show that I was doing. Oh, I'm gonna leave it here for a moment, just as I tell you about that. And she gave all the kids in the show gym decks. You know, the Tamamushi City Gym, Yamabuki, Gurin Town, all those things, right? So she gave us all those decks, and that was my introduction to Pokemon. All of my original cards were Japanese. I actually started with Team Rocket. That was my first booster pack. So I have a major nostalgia for Team Rocket set, and that will be coming up in a little bit. Thanks for joining me today. I hope very much you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I hope you come back for more.